Welcome back to the Sibling Group Chat. I'm Owen.
And I'm Cassidy.
Today we are back at it with the Odyssey review, episode 32, V.B.S. Blues.
Yes, this is the 35th episode of Adventures in Odyssey. It originally aired on July 16th, 1988. It is a part of album 2, The Wildest Summer Ever. And in this episode, young troublemaker Muggsy Mumford crashes Counselor Ned Lewis's Vacation Bible School production of The Fiery Furnace. And our themes are diligence, sharing your faith, and God's provision in tough situations.
It says Counselor Ned.
It does. I don't know if they're trying to maintain
odd.
consistency with Camp Whatanut.
Well, I mean, he is a counselor at Camp Whatanut, but he's just like a teacher leader.
I thought that was a weird word to use
VBS.
here.
You don't generally have VBS counselors.
No.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. I agree. It's an interesting word to use.
This is one of 2 of Ned's episodes, right?
I believe so.
His second one's a 2-parter, but...
Yeah. I don't know. I would have liked to see him stick around. I think he could have been a fun character to develop.
Yeah.
Do you remember... I can't decide if his voice is familiar to me just because it's Ned, or does he voice anyone else later?
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, his voice sounded familiar, but then I couldn't think. And then, for some reason, I was thinking along the lines of, he kind of actually sounds like Jimmy Barkley. Voice actor's name is... After his voice changes, he sounds very similar.
Dave Griffin, after his voice changes? I could see that.
Not like 100%, but along the same lines.
But obviously it's not.
Yeah, I couldn't think of one, but the voice is familiar. So I don't know if it was just from these 2 episodes. Or...
It's him, yeah. So someone else can let us know. Does this guy voice any other characters in Odyssey? We don't know.
But, so yeah, getting into the episode, it's the last day of V.B.S., and they're doing a program at Wits End, which I thought was a little bit odd. Maybe they just don't have a lot of room in their church to do their closing program.
Weird too, especially because they do later do theater programs at church, because the episode, The Boy Who Didn't Go to Church, about the play, about the body. I've mentioned this before on the podcast and you don't remember it. You need to go listen to it. Everyone else will know what I'm talking about, though.
I don't.
They're practicing the play at Wits End, and Jack comes and like, what's going on? And he ends up filling in for somebody who can't be at rehearsal. But they're planning to do this play at the church. So clearly at some point in time they have room for plays at church, but maybe not right now.
Interesting.
You seriously need to go listen to the episode because you'll remember it as soon as you listen to it.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll take your word for it.
It's called The Boy Who Didn't Go to Church. But anyway, speaking of the church, Chris just calls it Community Church.
Community Church.
Later, I think they end up calling it Odyssey Community Church, but today it's just Community Church.
Yep.
There's only one.
Yep. It's the first church, and it's the only church.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think Ned is kind of the main guy in this one. We talked about him a little bit at the beginning of the episode. He's getting ready for the program that night because the main, like the highlight of the program is supposed to be his play that he's put together. Yeah, I'm sorry. And yeah, so he's in not a bad mood necessarily. He's in a very,
he's in a bit of a tizzy, I'd say.
Yeah, because he thinks it's going to be a disaster. It's not going to go well. And Mr. Whitaker comes and asks him, like, well, it can't be that bad. Apparently he's directed some little sketches and stuff at Wits End before. Which, by the way, I was wondering, is this our first mention of the Little Theater, or did they have it in any other episodes?
I think this is our first mention, but they're not calling it the Little Theater yet.
No, I think they did at the beginning because I wrote down Little Theater specifically.
Oh, maybe they did. Because in Scattered Seeds, when they do that play, Tom talks like it's their first time doing a play there. Because he's like, it's nice what you've done with this space, Wit, but maybe they had just...
Well, he also says in that episode, Wit says that it seemed like a natural thing to do, but it doesn't feel like we use it enough.
So yeah, maybe they just reworked the space a bit to make it easier to use, but they had already used it before that.
Yeah, something like that.
Did
Um,
did they use a little theater in the Lights Out at Wits End?
that's what I was trying to think too, but I don't remember for sure.
I think they did. The episode
I don't
comes
know if
up
it counts
way
if they
too
did
often.
though.
And it comes up too much.
It was a memorable episode. Maybe not a good memorable episode, but a memorable episode nonetheless.
Yeah. Anyway,
Communicate.
we're in the little
Communicate.
theater. No, we're not
Yes.
rapping.
I couldn't even if I wanted to. But yeah, so Mr. Whitaker asked him why he thinks it's going to be a disaster because he's had some good sketches before, and he says, well, I didn't have Muggsy and his gang playing the parts. And these are apparently kids that Mr. Whitaker doesn't know, at least have.
Apparently.
Although he does seem to maybe have an idea of who they are when he calls him Eugene Mumford instead of Muggsy, so maybe he knows them by his given name, but that seems a little odd too. So I don't know, maybe Mr. Whitaker just doesn't know them at all.
They don't seem like kids who frequent Wits End, at least not for any good reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wrote down in my notes, I said Muggsy's gang equals the precursor to the Bones of Wrath.
A little bit, but the Bones of Wrath wouldn't have been as good as like Muggsy's gang were more like cantankerous.
They were just ornery, and I feel like
Yeah.
they're younger than the Bones of Wrath are.
Well, they're in sixth grade, so
Yeah.
I mean it's not that young.
No, but I'm saying
Bones of-
younger than the Bones of Wrath, because the Bones of
Yeah,
Wrath
I
may
guess.
be in middle school, but we all know they're older than
Yeah,
middle
they're
school
probably
age.
like 20. No, not
Maybe
really.
not quite
but
that, but
maybe not
anyway,
quite that
it's
old, but
our first
yeah,
gang.
I get what you're saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
their names, by the way, it's a 3-person gang is Eugene Mumford, Hank Shorter, and Junior Bascom, I think.
Yep, something like that. But Eugene goes by Muggsy.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm assuming Junior is probably not Junior's given name either, but we don't get a given name for him.
You never know. It could be, or he could
He could be
a
a
junior of
junior.
his father, and he just goes by Junior.
Yeah.
Minor detail.
But so to tell Whit how it all went down, basically, we flash back to the beginning of the week, like at the end of the first day, where Ned is telling his 6th grade class about the production that they're going to put on. He wants it to be a good one because they've never done anything like that before, and so he's going to ask for some volunteers to play the parts. He says they're going to be doing the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the fiery furnace, and throughout the entire description, he's having to tell different members of Muggsy's gang to stop doing random things.
Muggsy, will you stop wiping paste on Mary? That one's my favorite.
Yeah, there's that one. Junior's playing with a cookie.
Yeah, either
Hank
spit the cookie out or eat
Is
it. But stop
messing with
playing
his.
it.
Hank is not putting the gold star on his craft, whatever his craft was supposed to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I just love throughout this whole episode the quick banter, like either of Ned calling out the boys or the boys back and forth. It's just so funny. I wrote down so many lines from this because they're just funny lines.
Yeah, it's pretty good. But so when he asks for volunteers, Muggsy says, "Yo!" He's like, "Yes, Muggsy, did you have a question?" Like, "No, we want to volunteer." For what? We want to be in your
this
play.
guy.
And it's very clear very quickly. Ned's like, no. Let's we're gonna need to make sure we're gonna need volunteers, from everybody. But Muggsy, this is the one part where they're a little less than on. Like Muggsy uses a little bit of intimidation right here because
Yeah.
Ned is trying to get anybody, literally like anybody else, to volunteer.
We don't-
and Muggsy,
We don't hear Muggsy say or do anything. You can just
no, he just
tell.
interrupts the one kid who does kind of start
Oh,
to
that's
volunteer.
true. Yeah. But you can just tell. Like, I'm sure they're sending threatening looks around the room, and
Yeah, like like I said, they're not like they said anything crazy. It's just you get the idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Ned relents and says the part of Shadrach will be played by Muggsy, and then the other two will get to play. Which I might have. Did I even skip it? I did skip it.
skipped it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. When Muggsy says that they want to be in their play, he says we want to play those 3 guys.
A pool rack, a tool shed, and a billy goat.
Billy goat.
Yes, it's great.
Yeah.
It does sound like it, kind of.
Yeah, it's not terribly far off. And so when he tells them they can play the parts, I don't remember if it's Junior or Hank, says, "I get to be a billy goat."
Yeah.
And then the other one says something about being a
Yeah.
pool shack or whatever.
Yeah. Hank and Junior aren't specifically separate
Right?
people. They're just the two guys behind Muggsy. You don't really know which one's which. They're
Yeah,
just there.
pretty much. Yeah. Which I suppose it's worth mentioning. I believe Muggsy is voiced by the same as Monty's voice, correct?
That's who it is. He's also the voice of Chaz Wentworth in Camp Woodenut, which we get in a few episodes from now. But I knew he had voiced some other people before now.
I'm pretty sure it's Monty.
Yeah, I think you might be right about that.
I don't know if there was anybody else, but I'm positive.
I feel
Almost
like he
positive.
might have been. What's the jokester's name? Craig.
Yeah,
might have
he might
been
have been in
Craig.
that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, he's been around.
Yeah, so then after he assigns them those parts, he says the first rehearsal he found out that Muggsy and Hank and Junior didn't even know anything about the story of the fiery furnace,
No. I mean,
which would
we
create a
can figure out
problem.
these boys probably just showed up at Vacation Bible School for some free food and some mischief.
Well, and I think Ned even says that when he's explaining who they are to Mr. Whitaker. Mr.
Yeah.
Whitaker questions if they go to church very often. He says only if there's a potluck or a church picnic.
Yeah.
And so I think they were like Ned said he didn't expect them to stick around after the first day. In all honesty, if they hadn't decided at the end of the first day that they were like, yeah, let's do this, it was very possible from the vibe we get from them that they might not have come back. Like they could have just been like, man, let's go to Vacation Bible School today just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
And then they decided to keep going because they wanted to do the play.
Yeah, for some reason.
For some odd reason, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so throughout the first rehearsal, it's basically the three boys questioning every part
Every
of
single
the
part
story.
of the
They want to know what a fiery furnace is, to which the other ones reply,
like,
it's like we burn trash in. We get to burn trash in this play? No, you don't get to burn trash, you burn people. We get to burn
We get to
people?
burn
No, you
people?
don't get to burn people. You get thrown in.
What? We get a fire extinguisher? No, you don't get
No,
to
you
fire
don't get a fire extinguisher.
Who throws us in? The man in charge of the kingdom. You mean Daniel? No, Daniel's your friend. Wow, some friend. Yeah, throws him in the fiery
You skip
furnace.
the
and doesn't
part where he
give him
says,
the
no,
fire
not
extinguisher."
Daniel. It says right here, Daniel was in charge of the kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they also, they want to know, you're like, how is it that we're the good guys and we get killed? He's like, you don't get killed.
Well,
It sounds
before-
like getting killed to me.
Yeah, well, before that one, they said something being like Babylon was an empire. Like,
Yeah,
you know
it's
the
like-
guys you call strikes and balls? No, bird brain, not an umpire. An empire, like in Star Wars.
Cool, can I be Luke Skywalker?
Luke, I am your father.
Yeah,
But then, when he
it's
says,
all
"No,
over
get-"
the place.
Yeah, he says, no, you don't get killed. What? God gets you out of it. He does? Yeah, what do you think about that?
And then they huddle together because you can hear them like whispering in the background. They're like fire extinguisher.
Yep.
Oh man, it's a really funny first scene.
Yeah, and it just like the
great.
lines are just like on top of each other. Just the timing is really fun.
And in all honesty, the way they processed that is not at all unlike how we quote things. We go off of random words and go on tangents. That's kind of how we roll.
Yeah.
We can relate to those guys and how they processed that first rehearsal.
Yeah, but at least we know the story.
We do know the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, however.
Yes.
Yeah, so that about sums up the first rehearsal. And Mr. Whitaker says, back in the present day,
Yep.
asks Ned, like, were all the rehearsals that bad? And Ned says, no, some of them were worse. So
Talks
they
about them
kept
playing
wanting to change
cards.
the script. They wanted to add rock music for Nebuchadnezzar's music to, because the story is that they had to bow down to Nebuchadnezzar's idol whenever there was music played, and they wanted to make it rock and roll music.
Yeah,
There
they're
was-
playing
they wanted
cards
to
in the
play
fiery
cards.
furnace.
I feel like there's another thing, but I don't remember. I didn't write anything else down. But then the day before the performance, to make all of this worse, the pastor came to talk to Ned and said he was really looking forward to the production because apparently Ned had been wanting to start a drama club, or not club, but like program at church, like doing church plays and whatever. Mm-hmm. And it hadn't been like approved or whatever, but the pastor said if this play was good, he might better chance of getting that started.
So
And
Ned's
then
like,
he also
okay.
tells them it's one of the fiery furnace is one of his favorite stories, and so Ned is even more freaked out now because not
Yeah.
only is his play going to be a disaster, his hope of starting a drama program is in jeopardy, and it's one of the pastor's favorite stories.
Yep. And I think it's funny that the pastor is voiced by Chuck Bolte, who later voices George Barkley, who
Who
later
later
becomes
becomes
the
a pastor.
pastor.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too.
Yeah, Ned is just freaked out to the max.
And so he's still talking to Mr. Whitaker in the present. Um, even says it's not just all of those things that are upsetting him. It's that the fact that the whole point of a production like this is so the kids can learn more about the Bible, and he doesn't think that Muggsy and his two buddies have learned anything from the practices and production, which is understandably frustrating because that is the main point of something like this, and V.B.S. as a whole.
Yes.
But Whit tells him that maybe the boys weren't the only ones who need to learn a lesson. He also mentions that you can't really know what got through and what doesn't because it's a heart thing. Like, you can't know for sure that they didn't learn anything, even if they're acting like they didn't.
Yeah.
But that's like, what is the moral that Muggsy and his gang and the pastor's favorite story is my fiery furnace?
It's like, no, not exactly, but yes.
Yeah, basically. It's that the whole lesson is that he just needs to trust God to get him through it because it seems like it's going bad, but you don't actually know it could turn out really good. So the night of the performance arrives, and I assume we get the whole performance. It's really short, but it's a sketch, so it's
I
probably
think
supposed to
it's
be.
the whole thing. I just want to say
Yeah,
before we hop into the sixth grade production, the pastor is like, because
I
we're
know.
entering. Thank you, preschoolers. That was wonderful. I just want to know what the preschoolers did.
I don't know. I got a slight sense that it was like one of those things where it's like the preschoolers are finally done.
Yeah, or just
Like,
like,
thank you, preschoolers. That was wonderful.
yeah. It was your stereotypical preschooler church performance. Half of them were singing, half of them were staring, half of them were crying, some of them were running around on stage.
Yeah.
Typical preschoolers.
Sorry, there's people yelling in my dorm right now. I don't know
Oh.
why. Not in my room, but down the hall. Um, anyway,
Anyway, after the preschoolers,
yes, we get the sixth grade production of
the
Fiery
fiery
Furnace. And Ned is the narrator of this story. So he intros it. I didn't write down like the whole script because
No, I didn't write down the whole thing. I wrote down a lot because it's pretty funny, but I didn't write down
Yeah,
the
I
whole
didn't write
thing.
down hardly any of it. I pretty much just said the boys just added a lot of improv. And to be honest, the main reason that it wouldn't have been good in Ned's eyes is because he didn't write it to be a comedy.
That's true. I will say that would be if he was trying to play it so straight and
Yeah.
like
Because
then
the
yeah,
actual, like, it's
it's
funny.
funny. It is
And it's
funny.
not like they deviate from the story, like,
No.
in a bad way. Or, like, they tell the story fairly, somewhat accurately for that kind of production.
Yeah.
But it's because Ned didn't write it as a comedy that he thinks it was an absolute failure. In
Yeah.
my opinion. I don't know if you think the same or not, but
I would agree. It's just because it wasn't how he wanted it to be, he felt like it went terribly. But
yep.
in actuality, it's pretty funny. So
Uh-huh. Yeah, so I don't know
yeah.
if
Well,
you
he
just
first
wanna
introduces Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and one of the boys goes, "Hi, Mom," and then he's talking about the
he
fire
talks about the
extinguisher.
fiery furnace too.
Yeah,
And they like, like
what
when
they
they burn
burn trash.
trash in. They
They
know, they
know, they
know.
know. And then he's talking about the men, like the officials who give Nebuchadnezzar this idea, the dirty rats. And then he mentions them again, the rat things.
Yeah. But then when Nebuchadnezzar calls them in, like, and questions them, they go, listen here, Nebby.
No, Hanchman. Listen
Yeah.
here. Even before that, he says something to them. I think he's like questioning, like, you're not gonna do this, and they all go,
Uh-huh.
yes.
It's like, did you refuse to bow down? And they all like, yes.
Yeah. And then he goes, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Which I will say, it would seem that the person who played Nebuchadnezzar is the only one else in the play besides
Yeah,
the three. So
none
he
of the
must
others.
have had a crazy week too. We don't hear
I'm
about
sure.
him.
Yeah. Then it says
Um,
throw him in, and they'll go, "Uh oh."
yeah. Um, and
Then
I
you have
feel
this.
like,
There's the sounds of them going into the furnace.
yeah.
Geronimo.
And then
Anybody
Ned is
got any
talking.
marshmallows?
Yeah, and then but then Ned it says something. Maybe I don't think he mentions that the fourth man appeared yet, but he
Not
says
yet.
something about them, and they start singing, "Give me oil in my lamp, keep me burning, burning, burning."
It's such a funny joke, and like for
It
kids that
is.
don't even go to
It's
church, they
good.
happen to have heard that song, and
They
then they
probably learned it that week.
probably it's just the comedic timing is
It's
spot on.
hilarious. Like if Ned had written like that, it would have been like genius writing.
Yeah, but no, it's just these kids. Yeah,
Which, not to say, whoever wrote the episode, it's still genius writing. I'm just
yeah,
saying, within the
it's
context of
still Lawler.
Odyssey,
Yeah,
if
great
Ned
job,
had
Phil.
written it, it would have been genius writing for Ned as well.
Yeah, I think he had already seen the fourth man on the fire before that because I have
Okay.
before that in my notes it goes and he was amazed.
Yeah. Which I just want to say, the way, I don't know if it's the way he said the fourth man, or maybe it's just because the song and the story are associated with me. But if you've never seen it, go on YouTube and look up Tim Lovelace, Fourth Man in the Fire.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
it's a really funny song. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, it's a fitting tie-in to this episode.
Yes. Look it up. It's a Southern gospel song about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, but it's spun comedically because Tim Lovelace
Yeah, you
messes
gotta
up
make
the
sure you
song
find
for comedic
the one
effect.
with him, not just them
Yeah.
singing it
Yes,
normally.
you have to
Yeah,
find the one with Tim Lovelace because it's really funny.
yeah,
And the song is good on its own anyway, but
yeah.
yeah, so then they get called out of the fire and Nebuchadnezzar asks them like, "You're not even burned or scorched." And they go, "Told ya."
Told ya. Yeah.
I just want to point out that their final lines, I assume they were Bible verses. They didn't quote a reference, but I'm pretty sure they were Bible verses. I didn't take the time to find if they were.
I believe
But
it's what they say, or I think Nebuchadnezzar might say it after they come out of the fire.
maybe. But regardless, the three boys did not mess around or do anything
Mm-mm.
comedic. Like they quoted their final lines like perfectly, clearly.
Yep. And
It
it
was well
sounded like
done.
they meant them too, like they were
Yeah.
taking them seriously.
As I just want to say again, the whole performance was actually done well, just
Hmm.
not the way it was intended
Yeah.
necessarily.
Yep.
And so that about does it. And then so we get to after.
Well, before the kids go, well, what are you waiting for?
Yeah.
That's all, folks.
Yeah. Well, that's all, folks. Sorry, that'd be the Looney Tunes ending. They say that's all,
I,
folks, in Looney Tunes.
I think so. Yeah.
No, I'm saying they do. I know. I've watched Looney
Okay.
Tunes.
Yes. Okay. I'm agreeing.
Yeah, so after the thing, Ned is still in his tizzy because he thinks it was a train wreck, just the way he thought it was going to be. And Mr. Whitaker comes in and is like, it was not that bad. And then
Yeah.
the pastor comes and he's like, oh, Mr. Whitaker, do you know of any other churches in the area I could go to?
Apparently not, because all they have is community church.
Community church. Yeah. And the pastor comes and says, I want to talk to you. And he's like, listen, I know it was bad.
You do.
Well, he said at the same time Ned says he knows it was bad. The pastor says he
Oh, yeah.
really enjoyed it or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Like you
Um,
did.
Yeah, and the pastor says that he had never thought of it that way. That, like he'd never seen people have so much fun. He said there was parents who told him he'd never seen their kids have so much fun with a Bible story. And he also apologized to Ned because he said part of the reason why they hadn't been actually trying to get the drama program started is because he didn't think Ned was old enough, basically.
Yeah, because he is a teenager. We find that out.
Yeah, he's probably
At some
like a
point in the
high
episode.
schooler.
Yeah.
But he says that he tells Ned he can come in and talk to him the next day, like about starting to get that going in the church. So at this point, it's already turned out better than Ned perceived that it did. And then Muggsy, Hank, and Junior come and talk to him, and they apologize for causing so many problems, but also tell him that they actually did really enjoy doing his play, and they thought that the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego stuff Well, it was all right.
Yeah.
And they ask if he can come to his Sunday school class. So he apparently teaches the 6th grade Sunday school class as well
Apparently. Can you imagine? I'm just
on
saying, if I
Sunday.
taught 6th grade Sunday school, I would ask to teach literally any other grade for V.B.S. I'd have been
Yeah,
like,
because then the week of
I need
V.B.S.
a
you would
break.
have taught them for like 5 days in a row and
Yeah.
then again.
Yeah. Well, and then Camp Wadena, a few weeks later, he's a 6th grade camp counselor.
Yeah,
If I was
that's
Ned,
true.
I would be in a constant tizzy too.
No, no kidding. Too many 6th graders.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is coming from someone who might end up being a 6th grade teacher, so.
That's you, not me.
Yeah, me. I'm going to be a teacher. You are not a teacher. But,
But I
if you
do
ever.
interact with 6th graders quite
Yes,
regularly.
it's true. You do have to feed them. That is your job.
I do. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, so that about does it, I guess. It's just.
I think Chris wraps up, but I couldn't tell you what she
Yeah.
said.
She says that the word of God is living and active. It's wrapping up
Oh.
that, like, and I think Ned closes saying something about, like, we have to teach them, but we can't be in control of what they do with it. And we can't know what people learn about when we share it.
Yeah.
And so the whole, like, the episode is just showing, like, Muggsy and Junior and Hank didn't act like they were learning anything all week. They acted like they were just messing around all week. But in reality, they did pick up some things and learned to the point where they wanted to come back, not because there was a church potluck, but because they actually wanted to go to his Sunday school class and learn
Yeah.
more.
It's a good reminder. Like, this is a funny episode for kids, and it teaches them a Bible story. But I think from an adult perspective, it's a good reminder for anyone who works in children's ministry that you never
Yeah.
know what's going to connect with kids' hearts, and to keep going strong.
And you never know what might just stick in their mind and come back to them at a later time either.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's a funny
that about
episode.
does it. It's a
Good
great
one.
episode. Yeah, I guess that about does it for today. What do we got next week?
Next week, I've referenced Camp Wadena quite a few times, but it's actually not our next episode. It's in 2 weeks. Next week, we are doing the episode Kids Radio. You like this one?
I want to be a disc jockey, Brad.
Literally, probably the best part of that episode.
Can I be a disc jockey? Sure. Read this. Today in the news.
So yeah, there's your teaser for next week. We hope you come back and enjoy a further explanation and review of the Kids Radio episode.
Yes, it'll be a good time.
Yes.
But until then, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Subscribe wherever you get the podcast, and we will see you next week.
Yep. Bye.